I am Pamela Chapman, the Director of Leadership on the Human Capital team for the Tennessee Department of Education. Tonight, we are celebrating 15 exemplary teachers from across our state, 8 Teacher of the Year finalists, and that exactly was the pause for that exactly. So we have 8 Teacher of the Year finalists, and one could not be with us this evening. She moved to Hawaii. And we also have 6 Presidential Award honorees. They represent, yes, fantastic. They represent the nearly 60,000 educators in Tennessee, and that is something that deserves a round of applause. To our educators, you are leaders, friends, dream makers, role models, and game changers for nearly 1 million students and their families. It is exciting to see how many of your colleagues and family members are in attendance tonight to lend support and their heartfelt gratitude. We thank you for making the trip to Franklin near Nashville to support our outstanding educators. Let's give you all a hand. And to our Teacher of the Year finalists and honorees, we cannot thank you enough for what you do every single day. You go above and beyond the regular duties of a teacher to truly make an impact on our students, schools, districts, and communities. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate everything that you do for our children. At this time, I want to introduce our Mistress of Ceremonies for the evening, a woman that many of you probably already know. Vicki Yates moved to Nashville in 1990 to co-anchor the evening news for the CBS affiliate WTVF here in Nashville. She has been a mainstay on the #1 news station in Middle Tennessee for almost 30 years. Before joining News Channel 5 team, Vicki anchored and reported at KDKA-TV in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for 5 years. She also worked as an assistant news director, reporter, and public affairs director at WMJC Radio in Detroit. Vicki attended and graduated from Michigan State University with a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism. While a junior in college, she was hired to work for WJIM-TV as a news reporter. Vicki is a 6-time Emmy Award winner. I'm going to say that again. Vicki is a 6-time Emmy Award winner. When she is not behind the anchor desk or producing documentaries, Vicki is hosting events for local organizations and traveling to visit her much-loved children. Please join me in welcoming to the stage award-winning broadcast journalist, anchor, and reporter currently working as a news anchor at WTVF News Channel 5. Please, let's welcome Ms. Vicki Yates.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. Tonight, we are paying tribute to some men and women that I like to refer to as unsung heroes. Educators, as we know, often don't get the recognition they deserve for the time they put into their jobs. We know that teachers are the single most important factor in improving student achievement, and that Tennessee students deserve great teachers leading their classrooms. That's why tonight is so special. It gives us a chance to pay tribute to those who are not only doing the work, but excelling as well. Before we begin the main part of tonight's program, I want to introduce a few special guests to you. Please hold your applause until all introductions have been made. We are honored to have with us tonight, and if they'd like to stand, that would be great. Dr. Penny Schwinn, Commissioner of Education, who you'll hear from later in the program. That's fine, that's okay. Dr. Dale Lynch, Executive Director of Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents, or TOSS. TOSS is an important partner for Tennessee's recognition programs. Terrence Gibson, Assistant Executive Director of the Tennessee Education Association. And one other special guest, Commissioner Swinn's mother, is joining us this evening from out of town. I think we've heard from her. I'm a proud mom too, so I completely understand. The senators or representatives who are in attendance, and if they would stand, we'd appreciate it. State Representative Clay Doggett, State Representative Patsy Hazelwood, State Representative Casey Hood, State Representative Tim Rudd, State Representative Ryan Williams. Now let's give them a round of applause. This process is made possible by the many educators across the state who volunteer their time to review applications and participate in the interview process. We have several of our judges from the Teacher of the Year selection panel in attendance tonight, so as I call your name, please stand and let us say thank you for supporting this year's process. Again, please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Katie Houckland, Melissa Miller, Pam Chapman, Lee Cooksey. If you would stand and be recognized. Now you may applaud. Did we miss anybody? Okay, I want to make sure. Nobody likes to not be noticed. Well, we'd also like to recognize the directors of schools who have joined us in honoring our teachers here tonight. As I call your name, will you please stand and remain standing as we can recognize you as a group? Jerry S. Boyd of Putnam County. Dr. Linda Gilbert, Murfreesboro City. Johnny McDaniel, Lawrence County. Dr. Larry Lusk, Dyer County. Jeff Perry, Hamlin County. Dr. David Stevens, Bartlett City. Dr. Donna Wright, Wilson County Schools. And the following principals are also here to honor these special teachers tonight. As I call your name, will you please stand and remain standing so we can recognize all of you as a group? Laura Brim, Dyer County High School. Darian Brown, Watertown High School. Trey Duke, Salem Elementary. Jamie Green, Lincoln Heights Middle School. Dr. Shane Harwood, Signal Mountain Middle High School. Dr. Catherine Jones, Prescott South Elementary School. Lindsay, Lexington High School. Dr. Jennifer Littleton, Loretto High School. Jeff Luttrell, Watertown High School. Jeffrey Kinsler, Morristown Hamlin High School West. And Autumn O'Brien, Cleveland High School. Now, may we applaud. If I have inadvertently missed any directors or principals here tonight, please stand so we can recognize you now. I guess we're okay. Thank you, directors and principals, for the support you provide to our teachers. And would our previous Teacher of the Year winners please stand to be recognized at this time? The Teacher of the Year education program is one important way that the state of Tennessee says thank you to our many excellent teachers. This event is possible through the support of our sponsors, Education Networks of America, Next Generation Underwriters, Tennessee Risk Management Trust, Central Technologies Incorporated, American Fidelity, and TOSS, the Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents. We appreciate the opportunity to partner with these organizations who recognize the value of celebrating our Tennessee teachers and the great work that they do on behalf of our students. Another round of applause. And by the way, I'm going to have a little levity here today. We're going to it's Friday night. You're teachers, you're educators. We're going to have fun. The students are having a good time tonight. We're going to have a good time too. And speaking of students, let's take a time right now to honor our musical entertainment. These students attend the Nashville School of the Arts, which is part of Metro Nashville Public Schools. Nashville School of the Arts' mission is to provide the highest quality instruction in the fine and performing arts while providing a challenging academic program for the talented and creative students in the public school community they serve. Students must audition, interview, or write an essay to be accepted into the Nashville School of the Arts. The ensemble is led by Grammy-nominated music producer, songwriter, guitarist, and vocalist Ryan Murphy. Let's give Stacy, Edward, Josh, David, Alex, Trenton, Alana, and Matthew a round of applause. And of course, we would like to welcome all of the families and special guests of our Teacher of the Year finalists and Presidential Award honorees. It goes without saying that great teachers tend to work very long hours, both in and out of the classroom. So thank you for the support you've demonstrated by your presence here tonight. So right now, we're going to ask you to enjoy your dinner, and we'll continue with the celebration. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Dale Lynch, the Executive Director of the Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents. Dr. Lynch is going to tell you about our generous sponsors, but as he makes his way to the podium, let me tell you a little bit about him. In 2017, Dale Lynch was appointed Executive Director of TOSS. Previously, Dr. Lynch had been Director of Schools in Hamlin County for 16 years. During his tenure, he was named Tennessee's Superintendent of the Year in 2014. He came to Hamlin County from Elizabethton City Schools, where he served as Director of Schools and Assistant Director of Instruction. Dr. Lynch earned a bachelor's degree at Milligan College, followed by a master's degree and a doctorate of education at East Tennessee State University. He began his career in education as a teacher in Washington County, and he's presented at numerous regional, state, and national conferences. Dr. Lynch serves on various local and state boards and is also a past president of the Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents. Dr. Dale Lynch.
Good evening. Tell you, I thought it might get a little bit better. Let's try it one more time. Good evening. I know you've had the chocolate cake and everything else too, so I understand. Thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. It is a great pleasure and a privilege to be at, if not the best, it's certainly one of the top events in public schools in our entire state. So would you give all of our teachers in Tennessee, and especially the ones who are here tonight, a round of applause? I promise my remarks will be brief, but there are some folks I want to introduce. But you all have the pleasure of sitting with legislators and with principals and with superintendents and with all the important people here. I got to sit with the commissioner's mother tonight. And I am here to tell you that, when they said hold your applause and they announced the commissioner, did you hear that loud applause over here from her? The one thing I have enjoyed about working with Penny is that truly I have found that she has been real. And I will tell you that I lost my mother this past April during the legislative session. My mama, every single year when I was a young man, all the way up to my big event with TOSS that we would have, she would buy me a suit. And we were talking about ties over here. And so always cherish the time with your parents and your children. Would you give our commissioner's mother a round of applause for loving her? Oh, the love of a mother and a father. So thank you for being real and thank you for being with us. On our TOSS staff, the Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents, We have a special gentleman here with us tonight that makes so many things happen. Barry Ohausen, would you please stand up and be recognized? And Commissioner Schwinn, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your willingness to move to Tennessee, to move to our great state and be a part of great things that are already happening. And I know that you want even the best for our children here in Tennessee. And welcome to your first Tennessee Teacher of the Year celebration. Give her a round of applause also. I also want to say a very special thank you to several of our TOS partners who help sponsor some of the things that will be happening tonight. ENA, Education Networks of America, Dana Moore, David Pierce, and Stephen Klausner. I know Stephen is here. Would you please stand up? They're one of our platinum partners. Thank you, Stephen, for being here. Central Technologies, Joel Mays, and I know American Fidelity, Scott Long. I know Scott was here. Was Joel here? Scott, would you please stand up from American Fidelity and be recognized too? They help us make the monetary awards tonight a reality for our Teachers of the Year, and it is very, very special, so thank you all for helping us with that. I also want to thank our TOS board and membership, made up of district superintendents and some who are able to be here with us tonight. Thank you, superintendents and directors of schools, for what you do. But I think I would be remiss if I didn't announce last year we had the Tennessee Superintendent of the Year who is with us tonight, who is also a Tennessee Teacher of the Year, Dr. Linda Gilbert. Would you please stand up again? And I told you tonight is a special, special moment because being selected and being chosen as one of Tennessee's greatest Teachers of the Year is such an incredible honor. But I also will tell you that we have, which we think is also very, very special, Tennessee's 2020 Superintendent of the Year with us too, Dr. Donna Wright. Would you please stand up and be recognized? Thank you. Our TOS Board of Directors had the vision to help elevate and honor the Tennessee Teacher of the Year program several years ago. More than a pat on the back, more than a golden apple, tonight TOS will be giving some green stuff. So thank you to our TOS board, and again, we want to say congratulations to all of the teachers. Congratulations to all of our Teachers of the Year candidates who are here this evening. And a special thank you goes out to every single Tennessee teacher. We certainly appreciate what they do. Tonight is a Friday night, and I looked and I said, is it really on Friday night? Because I know that many of you all are involved in activities that are happening right now at school. So thank you for what you do, but I think this is a perfect night to celebrate all of our teachers and to celebrate you. So congratulations. Tennessee teachers, your impact and influence is lifelong and generation changing. Thank you for your tireless service. Thank you for your dedication to what I know as America's greatest profession. TOS, the Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents, appreciates all that you do, and we're here tonight with the Department of Education to celebrate everything that you do every single day. We want you to know we support you, we back you, but most of all, we love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Lynch. I know that a lot of you may not know who I am, other than, okay, I'm the person who's going to be talking about what's going on. But I do a segment called School Patrol for News Channel 5. And basically what that is focusing on students and a lot of times the teachers who teach those students. And every year, I wonder more and more why teachers aren't better paid. I just think that the job you do is so important. Obviously, we need doctors, we need attorneys, but the teachers are the ones that children remember. I can tell you my favorite teacher, and that's been how many years ago? I won't tell you that. My favorite teacher was Michael Curtis. He was an art teacher. He inspired me. And when you inspire children, you change their lives. You change their lives. So I'm on my soapbox. I'm just saying that Whatever you're getting paid, you need to be getting paid more. Okay, back to the program. And now I'm proud to introduce Tennessee Education Commissioner Dr. Penny Schwinn, who was sworn in by Governor Bill Lee earlier this year. As many of you know, Commissioner Schwinn comes from a family of educators who are all very committed to increasing access to an excellent education for all children. She leads with a deep sense of knowledge and passion about the impact that a strong education can make in a child's life. She began her education career as a high school history and economics teacher in Baltimore, then went on to become a school principal, the founder of a charter school, an elected school board member, and a host of other high-level leadership positions in other states before being appointed as the commissioner earlier this year. So please join me in welcoming Commissioner Penny Schwinn.
Well, since you've all heard my mother, I'm going to keep it brief. So I'm so happy to be here this evening. I was telling a couple of the teachers when we were talking earlier that of all I was in a room with 1,200 people last week. But this is the one that makes me the most nervous because when we think about the work of our educators and we think about how we want to honor them and celebrate what they do every day, you want to get it right. And I've been very lucky to have incredible educators in my life. Started when I was 6 weeks old in room 16 in Del Paso Heights Elementary. My mom, who raised me almost entirely on her own, brought me and stuck me in a closet, truth, because back then that was allowed. But she had to get to her kids. She had her first baby, but she had 20 to 30 others that were sitting in her classroom every year for 37 years. And she taught me what it meant to be an educator. Not someone who goes and teaches the standards, but someone who goes early, gets in the classroom every day, thinks about their kids on the way to work, thinks about how to support them and do better for them when they are in the room, thinks about them on their drive home, during summer school, and everything in between. And I know that the way that we celebrate teachers is how we talk about them. And that is why my sister and I are both teachers, and we both married teachers. And I think about that when I think about my own teachers, Miss McDonald, who's now a good friend of our family and we spend a lot of time with, my kindergarten teacher. I think about Mr. Manfredi, who I'd gotten some fancy title job, and he had sent me a letter with all of my cutouts from my basketball games and all the newspaper clippings he'd been saving for years. He's my favorite teacher. And he wrote a little note. He's been retired for a while, and it was kind of jilted handwriting, and he said some very lovely things, but at the end he said, "I didn't know what you were going to be, I didn't know what you were going to do, and when I found out you were a teacher, it made me so proud." And there's nothing like that feeling of your teachers being proud of you, and there's nothing like that feeling when you yourself are in education. And I'll say, this is a hard job. It's a hard job because you want to do right by a million kids, and everywhere you go, you're on the freeway, you're in Kroger, you are hiking, you are going to the movies, and you see children everywhere. And the responsibility and the weight of that, of knowing that we've got 1 million kiddos in this state, and we want to do right by them like they are our own. And that's the hardest part of this job. And I have to say that what's made it easier, and I will say the most joyous, the most fun, is being in classrooms, but even more than that, are a few very, very key people who have been my teachers in this first 7 or 8 months. And they're actually all here today. So the first is Cicely, who we actually went on we were a week together talking about the future of education and the teaching profession. And she pushed my thinking in terms of how do we actually trust our teachers to be the leaders they are? How do we elevate the profession? How do we think about what it means to be an educator, not just in the state but nationally, and how are we going to lead in that space? I think of Melissa, who has become a very dear friend in a lot of ways. And when I ever have a bad day, she gave me a very special necklace a couple of months ago, and it talked about leading with grace and leading with truth. And so when I know it's going to be putting on your armor day, I wear that because she has taught me what it means to lead and to serve with grace, with dignity, with children first and foremost, and most of all with love. And I'm very, very grateful to you for that. And my most favorite person that I've had the chance to work with since I started is Kathy. Kathy is the person, so on my first day, and I remember seeing her, it was always a smile, always kids first, and always thinking about how we do right by teachers. And we spent a lot of time in the car, seeing a lot of fun stuff on our way to school visits. We can talk about all that later. But Kathy taught me what kind of commissioner I wanted to be. She was the person who said, this is what Tennessee is about, this is who we are. We are about family, we are about love, and more than anything, we are about kids. And when I think about the teachers in this room, the 8 incredible individuals that I have the very, very dear opportunity of supporting and elevating and celebrating, starting this year, but certainly not ending a year from now, I keep that very front of mind, because this is what teachers are. They celebrate each other, they support each other, they build each other up, because at the end of the day, it's about kids. And I could not be more proud, more humbled, more scared to be in a position to support all of you. I'm deeply, deeply grateful as a parent of young girls who are in our public schools, as an educator for life. It will always be the name that I list as my job, and as the daughter of an educator who taught me what it meant to think about our children as our own. And I thank you very, very much. I'm so happy to be here, and I am so happy to celebrate the crazy, amazing 8 people that we are going to celebrate, and the incredible, incredible science and presidential scholar teachers that are here today. You are doing the hardest work, and it is hard to teach well. It is very, very hard. So 2020 is going to be the year of the teacher. If I have to sit across the street in Legislative Hall all session, that's what we will do. But I think this is our time to really talk about what this profession can be, should be, and will be in the state of Tennessee. This will be the place that people don't come just because they have a job, but there's no other place they could think about teaching in this country than right here in Tennessee. So I thank you so much for your time, and I'm excited to celebrate all y'all later this evening. Thank you.
Commissioner Swin, thank you for those inspirational words. Thank you so much. Now, it's time to recognize our honorees. We'll begin with our Presidential Awards for Excellence from the National Science Foundation. The Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching Program was established in 1983 and is administered by the National Science Foundation. This program recognizes teachers for exceptional teaching and a commitment to quality in the fields of math and science. All of the state finalists' applications have been sent to Washington, D.C. for participation in the national selection. At this time, I'd like to invite the state finalists for excellence in mathematics and science teaching to now come forward as your name is called to receive your award. First, let us recognize our 3 Tennessee finalists in math. Hughette Williams is a high school math teacher at Sevier County High School and Sevier County Schools. Her diligent instruction has resulted in overall improvements to her AP Calculus students' mean scores, surpassing both the state and national average on the last administration. Hughette founded the Mathematics Club at Sevier County High, and her students have gone on to compete and place in prestigious calculus competitions across the country. Hughette Williams. Kyle Sikorsky teaches Algebra 1 and Geometry at Watertown High School and Wilson County Schools. Kyle serves as department chair, PLC leader, and a teacher leader, and is exceptional at showing his students the real-world application for the math problems they encounter. Kyle? Christina Manley is a high school math teacher at Laverne High School and Rutherford County Schools. Christina serves 8th grade math teacher as an 8th grade math teacher and math department chair. She believes all students are mathematicians and holds high expectations for learning by providing relevant, engaging content. Christina Manley. Next, we congratulate the 3 Tennessee finalists in science. Robert Ainsworth is a high school teacher at Richland School and Giles County Schools. He transitioned into education 5 years ago and brings deep technical knowledge of the sciences to his classroom. Robert's ability to connect with his students on higher-level scientific concepts is evident from the exceptional growth his students have made on end-of-course assessments. Robert Ainsworth. Jessica Lubbock. Jessica is a high school science teacher at the Howard School and Hamilton County Schools. A former district-level Teacher of the Year, Jessica serves as a science coach and model lead teacher at her school. She believes in utilizing data for transparency and setting high expectations for student learning. Jessica Lubbock. Jeannie Long. Ms. Long is a secondary science teacher at Cleveland High School and Cleveland City Schools. Jeannie is a former student at Cleveland High School and is now a national board-certified teacher. Her love of science and for her school is evident to all of her colleagues and contagious to the students that she inspires to love biology. Jeannie Long. Well, congratulations to all of our finalists for the Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching Program. Another round of applause. And Dr. Schwinn, if you would come back, you can continue to give these wonderful prizes.
Thank you. Okay, hello. I'm going to welcome Dale up with me. So to show our appreciation, we're presenting each of you, our 8 finalists, and I'm seeing you throughout the room, with a Teacher of the Year trophy and award from our sponsors. As you make your way to the stage, we will take a short glimpse of your life's passion in teaching. After you receive your award, we would love for you to say a few short words and then pause for some photographs, which you will be getting. I'm looking at Lindsay, don't worry, you're not going first. So, here we go. The 2019-20 regional finalists for Teacher of the Year are, starting with East Tennessee, representing the 1st Tennessee Core Region, Brian McLaughlin, Morristown Hamblin High School, West Hamblin County Schools. Come on up, Brian. I know you're in the back. Can't see you, but you're there.
My biggest joy in teaching is just seeing my kids every day and seeing them grow. I love seeing them come up to my door and getting to shake their hand and greet them every day, seeing the smile on their faces. Are you, Robert? Yeah. Awesome. I told them that even if they're having a bad day, I hope that I can at least bring a bright spot into it. But this new graph is f of x plus 4.
My daughter has something called Irving syndrome, and it kind of manifests itself by dyslexia. When Olivia had Mr. McLaughlin, I would hear her say things like, "Oh, I can do that."
10 to the 6th.
Or even, "I'm good at math now," since I've had Mr. McLaughlin, because she's now going into college.
I love drawing out the potential that I see in young people. This looks good. I love showing them things that they may not have noticed about themselves. I hope that they hear something being said to them that encourages them. That's a deep value, right? And builds them up and edifies them and makes them want to pursue that dream that they have for their future. In that first section,
The things that he did for my daughter, personally, I will always appreciate that.
I want to, at the end of my career, be able to say that I know how to work with, inspire, and care for every single teenager that I may come across.
All right. My favorite thing to do as a teacher is to pull a kid aside and to tell them, I care about who you want to be. I want to hear about what you're passionate about. I want to know what you love to do, and then equip them for that journey. I will never forget one of my very favorite kids named Matthew. Matthew had so much potential that he didn't even know about. Matthew had so much skill in mathematics, but just as being a great young man. And so one day I pulled him out of class to tell him that. I said, Matthew, I don't know if you've ever thought about being an engineer. You'd be excellent at that. To me, those were very small words. Those are words of huge impact in Matthew's life. He came back to visit me a few weeks ago in my classroom. He is pursuing being an engineer in the Army and working on helicopters and doing all sorts of amazing things. And as he was reminding me of that, he said, do you remember how I cried when you told me that? I said, yeah, I do, because you had to bend down to my level to cry on my shoulder. And he said, that was the first time anybody had told me that I could do what I wanted to do. And that, guys, that's a very powerful thing. We have a real responsibility to endorse the visions that our kids have for their futures, to tell them, I know you can do that, and to tell them I'm proud of you all along the way. I'm very privileged to work in Tennessee, a place that is developing opportunities through Drive to 55, Tennessee Promise, Tennessee Reconnect, to make sure that every single Tennessean's dream can be made reality. This is an exciting time to teach in our state. I have to pause and say thank you to some people that helped me find my dream. First is my family. My parents are with me, and my sister Amy is with me. Thank you for loving me and supporting me every day of my life. You're my favorite part of this evening. I'm so glad you're here and can enjoy this with me. I'm proud to be in a school with Jeff Kinsler, my principal, who mentored me and listened to me talk for a long, long time on days where he probably had a lot of other things to do, helping me be the very best educator that I could possibly be. Thank you. You're an awesome leader, and people need to know who you are. I also want to thank Governor Lee and Commissioner Schwinn for keeping all kids in mind as they make decisions in our state. Thank you so much. That's not an easy task, but we appreciate you. Ultimately, though, I have to thank God, who connected me to my calling, who's in my classroom every day and does things for my kids I cannot do. He loves them in ways that I can't, and I'm very grateful that I can call him my father. I pray that I can be a fatherly voice to kids, parents, and teachers across our state, and I thank you for this opportunity. Together, let's find a kid, ask them what they love to do, and equip them for the journey. Thank you.
Representing the East Core region is Christina Hasha, I always get it mixed up, Jefferson Elementary School, Jefferson County Schools. Christina could not be with us this evening. Representing the Southeast Core region is Kristen Robertson, Signal Mountain Middle High School, Hamilton County Schools.
She just really embodies everything that we hope a teacher to be.
What do you think, Peter?
He comes in every day dedicated to her kids and moving them along academically and then in other areas of their lives.
What's going on in this seat?
Any student can just about read anything you put in front of them. You have to create strategies and you have to scaffold so that kids are starting on a level they're comfortable with, but never be afraid to put a challenging work in front of a student. You can bring text alive to them by making it important, making it mean something. I get no greater joy than to have relationships with kids and see them get excited about their education and then take it out to the next level. Because when you get a kid excited about English, about speaking and reading and writing, you've given them some tools for being successful in all areas of their life.
I think her preparation, her expertise, all of the energy and caring that she pours into it.
She's not discussing that as a device for communicating.
Having a student not succeed in her classroom is not an option.
I feel like I'm getting to live out kind of a high school dream I had as an 18-year-old.
Thank you very much. Over the last decade, the state of Tennessee has made tremendous improvements in public education. And the progress is the direct result of Tennessee teachers who have dedicated their lives to the field of education. My message to all teachers is that in spite of the many challenges we face in public education, Tennessee teachers are indeed changing lives and empowering students each and every day. As teachers, we do not always have control over the general population's perception of our schools. However, we do have the greatest impact when it comes to writing our narrative and telling our story. Whereas public schools are a reflection of our society, we dare to be a positive reflection, standing tall against opposition, armed to help kids overcome odds and break down generational cycles of poverty and marginalization. We give students power when we welcome them through our classroom door and encourage them to see themselves as capable learners who can meet any challenge we place before them. Tennessee teachers share a common goal: to pour our very best into the hearts and minds before us so that we can leave this world a little better than it was when we found it. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." And the education Tennessee teachers are providing our children is raising up the next generation of citizens who are prepared to invest in and empower others just as their teachers did for them. As a representative of Tennessee teachers this year, my mission is to support and uplift my fellow educators so that they can see that their life's work is a catalyst for change of epic proportions. Thank you very much.
Now the finalists from Middle Tennessee. Given the, there it is. Representing the Upper Cumberland Core Region, Lindsay Spain, Prescott South Elementary School, Putnam County School System.
There's not another Miss Spain. She's a very motivated individual.
When was your materials? What I like about teaching is building the relationships, having students from various backgrounds, all different levels, watching them flourish and succeed. What can we add?
She's very funny, and we do some fun activities that I haven't done in other classes before.
She puts in a lot of hours and she has high expectations for kids. If you're a student in her class, you're going to be working hard, but working hard on your personal level, and that's what great teachers do.
My plan, my teacher, watching them at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. That's amazing. Whether it's social, emotional, behavior, academics, obviously. Seeing them say, I did it, I can do it.
And I'm positive.
That's wonderful, Lily.
I think what makes Miss Spain stand out is the relationships with the kids, the high expectations. She's constantly interacting with someone in the room, and then she backs off when it's their turn to do the thinking. It's a delicate balance, and she's mastered it.
Having that relationship with that student means more than anything. A child that knows you care about them wants to do well themselves because they want to do well for you.
After seeing that, I can just go home now. Because you miss those moments of your students. Sometimes following Brian and Kristen is really hard to do. But one thing I think you maybe saw or heard from the video that I'm extremely passionate about and I want to bring to the forefront as ambassadors are traveling throughout the state this year is the importance of knowing and loving and educating the whole child socially, emotionally, and of course academically. Unfortunately, this day and age, our students are coming to our classrooms with emotional disorders, behavior issues, discipline issues, And they're having trauma that we're not even aware of that was going on the night before, last week, or even a year ago. And unfortunately, sometimes we look at the behavior and not the student. And we need to look at the behavior and say, okay, why is this behavior happening? Not because the behavior is happening, but what is the cause behind it? Because when behaviors are happening that we're not understanding, there's a loss of academics, there's the trust with each other is not there, their self-esteem, it goes downhill. We prepare our teachers with the ability to recognize deficits when it comes to academics, but I feel we need to give them the tools and the strategies to prepare those when we see deficits of social and emotional learning. And we need to give them the resources and the tools to help them to either better equip that child or to help the family become equipped themselves to help the child. I just truly believe that if we want to see our community grow and flourish, we need to make sure that we're reaching every single level. And by working together and working with the community, I feel that can happen. So thank you.
Okay, representing the Mid-Cumberland Core Region, Sarah Chumney, Cason Lane Academy, Murfreesboro City Schools.
You're doing so good. Can you read out loud to me?
I'm working out to our my favorite part.
What I love about teaching children is seeing them grow in their language and their reading skills and their writing and just developing that confidence. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Ms. Chumney is very patient, and when you're working with kids who are students who are learning English for the first time, she really works closely to make sure that she's addressing all of their needs.
You guys want to be in a city where they have lots of clothes, markets?
She does really good stuff. She wants us to laugh.
When I was in the military, I was pursuing for education because I knew I wanted to teach reading, so I ended up getting a master's in leadership and I got a master's in reading and literacy. But once I was deployed, I just saw the children and I just wanted to go back into the classroom. That was where my heart was. We were going to meet with our parents.
She really looks to the entire family and say, how can I support all of these people who are coming in to make sure that the child has not just what they need here during the school day, but they have their resources at home, at night, on the weekends as well.
I was listening to a girl from Iraq, and she said the war did not scare her, but coming to America and having to learn English was scarier than being in a war. And I try to remember that for our kids. It's scary.
One of the things that sets Ms. Chumney apart is just her genuine love and passion for the kids that she serves.
I am so proud of you guys. You worked very, very hard.
Thank you. It's amazing to see my students. I just love them. We've achieved great things in Tennessee. We are the fastest improving state, and we are consistently striving by ensuring our standards prepare students to be college and career ready. We still have work to do. One way to continue our great work is by educating the whole child to include the physical, emotional, and social development of each child that walks into our classroom. One way we can do this is by embracing the backgrounds and individual uniqueness of every child. 2 years ago, I received over 30 refugees from parts of Africa and the Middle East. One particular student that stood out the most was a young 9-year-old boy from Syria. Upon arrival to my school, he had no former education in Syria, and the area he lived in was going through a war. Just within weeks of my student arriving at school, we had a terrible thunderstorm, which lasted throughout the night. I could not help but think about my student. From my military experience, I know that the sound of thunder and lightning can sound similar to being in war. When I met my student from Syria off the bus the next morning, he had already started a fight on the bus, and I could tell that he was tired and restless. I hugged my student and assured him that he was safe. He was safe and he would have a great day. Understanding and knowing my student made all the difference. In other classrooms, this may look different, as we are a diverse state. However, no matter where we are, students need teachers that know them, and combined with great teaching, we have the power to change the trajectory of a child's life. As Teacher of the Year, I want to encourage other teachers to think about how we can help reach the whole child, because all children deserve a high-quality education that prepares them to be their best. As an educator, I know we cannot do this alone. The collaboration with our peers, the community, and creating partnerships with businesses can provide many great opportunities. We are consistently striving for excellence by setting high expectations and focusing on what every child brings to the classroom, because I truly believe that all children can and will succeed. Thank you.
Representing South Central Core Region, Mary Pack, Loretto High School, Lawrence County Schools.
The best part about Loretto High School is that yes, we are a smaller school, but that we are literally a big family. Who knows what it is? Right here. All right. I first got into teaching after being in the retail management field for 13 years. I majored in marketing in college, and I decided that I wanted to share my passion for business with young people. Switch gears a little bit.
Well, Miss Pack is a phenomenal teacher, whether that be through inspiring young people as she does day in and day out.
Everybody knows the swoosh.
They love Miss Pack. She is a great role model for them. She has a true passion for what she does.
What I like the most, I believe, about teaching is just being a big family with the young people.
And that all goes back to your customer.
And being that person that they can come to for advice and helping them to pursue scholarships, jobs, things such as that. I enjoy helping them to become successful adults.
I've grown really close to Miss Pack. She's always been like a mentor to me, especially in high school.
You can't replace Miss Pack. She's just phenomenal.
I get the satisfaction of knowing that I played some small part, no matter how big that part might be, in shaping someone's future.
Helen Keller once said, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." This message has never been more true than in the world of education. We are all called to play a part in a child's development. To my esteemed fellow educators, congratulations on taking the challenge to lead the most important team you will ever play on. Our lasting impact is what makes our positions so important. We are dedicated to transforming our youth into tomorrow's leaders, and because of this, our world will be in good hands. We as teachers must support each other through collaborative projects, instructional ideas, and moral support. We must build each other up and not forget the reason that we chose our career in the first place: the faces of the many students who count on us each and every day. But teachers cannot do it alone. There are other important members of an educational team, and these include parents and community stakeholders. We know that a student's life experiences begin at home. Therefore, we must strive to improve parental communication and involvement in our schools. Educational research shows that strong parental involvement leads to students making better grades,
participating in more activities, and sometimes choosing to stay in school and graduate. It is because of this that communication is the key and can be making all the difference in the educational experience, and we are here to make that happen. Community stakeholders provide valuable resources for our students, and they want to be involved, but we must reach out to them to form these valuable partnerships. Guest speaking, job shadowing, and internships are such important opportunities for our students. Our communities are filled with people who help our students in our schools on a day-to-day basis in so many different ways, and we must thank them for all that they do. So dedicated teachers leading the educational team, along with parents and community stakeholders, must work together for our students and to believe that the education of a child is what shapes their future. And let us not forget that priceless feeling when we see a former student as a successful adult and they thank us for all that we did for them. How fortunate we are to have been a part of that success, for that is what makes it all worthwhile. Thank you.
I had the great pleasure of being in her classroom a couple of weeks ago, so I was just saying, if you haven't been, it's phenomenal. I haven't gone to all the teachers, but those I have, you're just so good at your jobs. And now we recognize the West Tennessee finalists. Representing the Northwest Core region, Tina Greenlee, Dyer County High School, Dyer County Schools.
She's a born teacher. Your remark. It's that. Go.
I like to use a lot of movement in my classroom, so they are not sitting for 80 minutes listening to me.
Success of her students is very important to her, and that passion that she has for learning, the passion that she has for life, that spills over into her classroom.
Oh, we got the plane right here. Right.
My students do really well with the test. About 5 years ago, my family, we went through a tragedy. We lost our youngest daughter. And when I came back, it was the students who got me through it.
But Ms. Greenlee always comes in with that positive outlook, looking for the best in each student, the best in her coworkers. What can she bring out of them to apply to our school and her classroom?
I'll give it to you. Put it on there. I'm making a difference in their lives. When we can continue that contact when it's no longer a teacher-student relationship.
Go.
Educators and representatives, where is our priority when it comes to educating our children, our future leaders, our future workforce? Is it student achievement or what's convenient? Is it teacher retention or is it money? When teachers are invested in students, they're saving lives in much the same way that doctors save lives, because we're saving future generations. By investing in students, teachers are ensuring the prosperity of our state as well as our country. But the student investment can only happen when teachers are valued and respected and supported. So Tennessee must support its teachers, who in turn are invested in our students. But what would this investment look like? Tennessee can provide teachers with collaborative planning schedules so that teachers are sharing their workloads rather than doubling their efforts. Tennessee can ensure that each and every school has its own instructional coach whose sole responsibility is to support teachers. Tennessee can ensure its parents that their children have teachers who are fully supported and that those teachers are fully invested in the success of each and every child. When Tennessee invests in students and invest in teachers, we're all victorious, because teachers are more effective and students are actively engaged in learning, and then the state is meeting its educational goals and purposes. So when Tennessee invests in teachers, who turn around and invest in students, it promises a 100% return. Thank you.
Representing the Southwest Core Region, Holly Cooper, Lexington High School, Henderson County Schools.
If you look at character dialogue,
there's some special qualities that Miss Cooper has. One is she relates to kids extremely well.
I always say, keep it to one page if you can.
She's compassionate about her job. She doesn't get real high or real low on a student. She has high expectation and she knows the material and she knows how to present it.
I'm particularly proud about being able to get gains from my top students. And so when you get gains out of that, I really feel as though I had a real influence on that. Good question. What I really want them to take away is confidence in themselves, that they can do more than what they thought they could do when they came in. I would like for them to leave thinking, I feel confident about next year for the ACTs. Just that feeling that, yes, I can do this. Even if I couldn't when I started, I can now. That's a good place to work.
Because of teachers like Ms. Cooper raised the bar. We've had a lot of success, and she needs kind of a pat on the back because she's very instrumental in part of that.
I am what I am because of everyone else, you know.
Oh my goodness, I'm in the midst of greatness right here. This is wonderful. This is such an honor to be up here representing such a great state of education and fabulous teachers. Tennessee's education, of course, has been nationally recognized as a top leader in achieving results and improvement. All of us should celebrate, and we should be proud of this distinction. But you know who's really responsible for all of it? The teachers, our fabulous teachers. We are in this state of greatness because our teachers are experts at building relationships and embracing change. All across Tennessee, we are doing these things in order to ensure our student achievement and the success. Teachers, you and I both know, we know that from experience, no matter how much emphasis is put on accountability and performance, what really matters here in a classroom is the positive teacher-student relationship, an environment where our students feel safe, they feel valued, respected, and empowered. It's one that creates and supports the success. Additionally, creating positive relationships with our colleagues, our parents, and communities enriches the educational environment. It is especially important to involve our new teachers. When we collaborate and we become more effective and confident, we need to reach out to all those new kids on the block to help them get along and stay. We teachers know that success comes from embracing change. Hey, just doing daily checks for understanding tells us if we need to tweak that lesson or not, right? So stepping out of our usual comfort zones sometimes is a bit scary, and it certainly is challenging, but it's definitely worth it. All across Tennessee, teachers are thinking and they're teaching outside the box, and the results are fantastic. Embracing change and collaboration haven't been confined just to our classroom or the school campuses. Schools have been partnering with businesses and their communities to enrich the educational experience through the dual credit classes, TCAT certification, apprenticeships, parents helping with reading, and people coming in to help with tutoring during vacation times or during the summer school break. All these programs have played a big part in Tennessee's success and achievement. To all teachers and parents and members of the community, to all of you out there, I want you to understand that I feel that all of us are partners in creating this positive environment, and the opportunities for success right here are for all kids in Tennessee. Establish those strong relationships and embrace change. Greatness, it happens when we work together. Thank you.
Representing the Shelby Municipal Region, Amanda Tudor, Bartlett 9th Grade Academy, Bartlett Municipal School District.
I teach visual art and photography. What I'm offering students is a learning experience and not just lessons. So to start us off, what do you think all of these people, what do they have in common?
It was exposing yourself as a fog.
So we turned an average Art 1 course into an Art 1 course that focuses solely on photography. And what I found is astonishing, and it was not what I expected, but I wound up with students who have more compassion for their fellow man and more empathy for other people. You're right. See how smart you are?
There's something special about her. That class is the perk of their day, and it's just the energy that she brings to her class and the love to her students, for art, for them, for just encouraging them as well. It's just amazing to watch. There is a pure joy and excitement that she gets from her students.
Hi, good morning.
You can just walk down the hallway and see their work.
Freshmen need depth. They need to be asked to think deeper. They need to be challenged deeper. This is gonna get deep, guys, but expect that in my class. And so it's my job as the educator to make them think deeper, hear deeper, and the future of Tennesseans, if they go through this program, the more compassionate and empathetic adults we'll have.
She really sounds like she knows what she's talking about. I just can't believe it's me. Good evening. It is a tremendous honor to be standing here in front of you. And like someone else so eloquently said, I am in the company of greatness. Tennessee teachers should stand proud because you are leading the future. As an art teacher who has taught every grade level from pre-K through 12th grade, in my 15 years of teaching, I've observed my fellow educators, and I have come to a conclusion. Teachers are extremely creative. Creativity is the 21st century skill that is the most sought after by businesses and workplaces in recruiting. As an artist and an art teacher, it is my job to recognize this creativity when I see it, and classroom teachers, I see it in you. How are you creative? You are magicians. You run a classroom of 25 to 35 students with a variety of needs. 6 of them will have IEPs, 3 of them will have 504s, and the class is on 5 different grade levels in reading. And yet you weave a masterful web. You pull this off. It is so exciting to watch. You are problem solvers. You are collaborators. You are wise. You are leaders. And you are leading the future of the great state of Tennessee. In this past year, you may have heard some things in the field of education that may have caused you to pause and be concerned. Or maybe some of the news has discouraged you. Truly, the root of that discouragement is fear. And it is fear that your students aren't going to get what they need. You feel that fear because you care. But the truth is, with the Tennessee teachers I've observed, if the worst case scenario really happened, do you know what Tennessee teachers would do? They would figure it out. They would figure it out. In 2017, Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico. After 3 weeks, teachers reported back to schools with no electricity. And they taught school for 112 days with no power. They did what they could with what they had where they were. They solved problems, and they looked for creative solutions, and they found them. So Tennessee teachers, let's embrace your creativity this year with a challenge. I challenge you to look for the good, and you will find it. I challenge you to do what you can with what you have, where you are. The kids in Puerto Rico will never be the same. They will have a model of surviving and persevering through the worst of challenges to always look back upon. And we can do that in Tennessee together. Thank you very much.
One more time, I mean, come on, right? Come on. One more time, a big round of applause for all 8 of these amazing people. So 3 of these teachers will be named as the Grand Division winner for East, Middle, and West Tennessee. And then a 4th teacher will be named the statewide Teacher of the Year. And now, it's time to recognize the Teacher of the Year for each Grand Division. As your name is called, please come forward to receive your award. Okay. And you're all amazing. Sorry, this is the teacher of me. I'm like, I don't want to do this part. Somebody else do it. The East Tennessee Division Teacher of the Year winner is Kristen Robertson, Signal Mountain Middle High School, Hamilton County Schools. Walking back, Kristen was one of my first teacher roundtables in Hamilton County, and it gave me a lot of notes. I remember taking a lot of notes. It was great feedback. An amazing person. The Middle Tennessee Division winner is Lindsay Spain, Prescott South Elementary School, Putnam County School System. Envelopes are floating everywhere. It's great. Thank you, Toss. The West Tennessee Division winner is Amanda Tudor, Bartlett 9th Grade Academy, Bartlett Municipal School District.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations to all of you on the work you've obviously put in to be here tonight, and I want to just give the 3 Grand Division winners one more round of applause. All right, Melissa. Approximately 1 year ago tonight, Melissa Miller was selected as the 2018-19 Tennessee Teacher of the Year. Well deserved. Melissa has had a busy year. She teaches first grade at Franklin Elementary and Franklin Special School District. Melissa is also a National Board Certified Teacher. During the last 12 months, she has provided a voice for Tennessee educators in conversations with state and national leaders, parents, and educators throughout Tennessee and in states across the nation. It is my honor to ask Melissa to come up and share a few reflections from her experience as the 2018-19 Tennessee Teacher of the Year, and on a personal note, the very first classroom that I visited, and I cannot say, if you have not been to her classroom and seen the joy and love that is there every day, you've got to go. It will change your life and the way you think about education. She's an amazing person.
I would just like you to just stand up right now and just give all these teachers just a standing ovation, and our great leader. And then give them a wow, which we do this in my classroom all the time. Wow. And if you're in my classroom, you would be having a 1-minute dance party, because I know that you need to be moving. So tonight, I want to give you a glimpse of my Teacher of the Year journey, a journey that helped me find my way back to my why by just figuring out my purpose and my platform. What if we could see the measure of our impact? I want to take you on a journey to finding mine. I was on the first trip as the Teacher of the Year and hoping all would be unveiled and I'd have this, great sense of, this is my platform and this is what I'm going to stand upon and this is who I am. But after a week of digging deep into policy and platform and purpose, I felt more lost than ever. We had been so busy and you're just kind of waiting on that, okay, what am I supposed to do as Teacher of the Year? Just tell me. And so we had just a 2-hour break before dinner, and we were all headed out into groups. And then I realized when we got to the door, I had forgotten my coat when we went to take that one last picture. And so I went back upstairs to get it. And then when I got back downstairs, I walked out the door and everyone was gone. Each group thought that I had gone with the other. So there I stood there, locked outside the door, and my phone had died. So, you kind of think you're dependent on your device. Well, I couldn't call anyone. I did not know where I was because we arrived by bus, and I couldn't use my GPS. So I had that first feeling of just being lost as a child, and then I just thought to myself, you are strong and courageous, so just get moving. So that's what I did. Thankfully, I had pencil and paper always work. So I had written down the address of where I was going later and just stuck it in my pocket. So, that would work for me then a little bit later when I figured out how to get there. So during my journey down the road, I met Charles. And Charles is homeless, and I often volunteer with homeless ministries, so I felt right at home stopping to talk to Charles about the newspapers he was selling. We just made an instant connection with each other. He told me that he was from Nashville, and I actually knew just where, and I told him I was a teacher, and so I asked him, as I often do, who was your favorite teacher? And then he looked to the sky and he looked back at me with this tremendous smile on his face, and he said, Mrs. Hamburg was my favorite teacher because she let us work in small groups on projects. And I kind of laughed to myself because I thought, okay, that's project-based learning, and we think that's new, but it's really not. And then he told me something that I didn't ask. He told me that about his least favorite teacher. Maybe he smiled once. And Charles really wanted to do something to make him smile. So he got a card and he had all the kids sign it. And then he put that card on the teacher's desk. When the teacher walked into the room, he picked up the card and just immediately threw it in the trash. And Charles said, I was crushed. And I was crushed just hearing his story. And my heart just broke for him as he told a story that was over 40 years old with such freshness that you could still feel at that moment how much something from so long ago that was said had still impacted his life. He told me that his dad was an alcoholic and his home life was really rough, and shortly after this time that he dropped out of school. Now, I can't say that teacher was the reason, but I do know from personal experience that teachers have tremendous impact with their words and their actions to change lives. Right now, I just want you to think about your favorite teacher. Just close your eyes and picture them in your mind, just like Charles did. And then open your eyes and look back at me. Was it something that teacher did or said? What made that teacher your favorite? Those are the stories we want to keep telling. That's the teacher that you want to become, your favorite teacher. Everybody has a favorite teacher. Everybody can spark up a conversation. And I can see by the smiles on your faces, even though that was long ago, that teacher coming fresh back into your memory just brings that, joy and happiness, back onto your faces. Words of affirmation have the power to transcend time. And that is powerful. To think about Charles and the stories he told. To think about us and the stories that we would tell. Now, Charles and I had a cup of coffee together. He introduced me to his friends, and then I went on my way down the road. Just incredibly thankful that God had brought me to that place at that moment in time to remind me of my purpose, to remind me of the why I do what I do. I was reading in a summer reading program my second grade year, and I remember how nervous I felt as the teacher came over to me to listen to me read. And then she said, "You're so smart. You're a great reader." And I just looked at her and said, "I am?" Because I didn't feel great. I felt broken and I felt unsuccessful. And she made me feel great. And it was like at that moment, her words just came down like a light upon me. And it was like, you are smart. She anointed me and she anointed my life with her words. She changed the course of my life. And that made me work really hard in school, just learning to believe in myself. And that's what I give back to kids, teaching them to believe in themselves. As teachers, we must remember and understand the tremendous impact that we have on the lives of our children. What we do changes the world for the students that we have the great privilege of working with every single day. To be the difference in the life of the child, you make a difference and you speak life into them. You must be passionate, persistent, committed, and have this razor-sharp, relentless focus to give every child, every chance, every day to feel and to become successful, whatever it takes. In order to do this, you must remember your why. Why do you do what you do? Why did you want to become a teacher? Your why is interwoven in and through everything you do, and it makes you who you are. It's that beautiful tapestry, your why and your story. Your why helps you see the invisible in the children that you teach. Your why helps you from drowning. And I know there are many days you feel like drowning and you get lost along the way. Your why is there to find you. Every day we are commissioned to teach, to empower, to impact lives with our gifts and our passions, to fill in those gaps and to challenge. What if we could see the measure of our impact? Would it be measured in the hugs of students who come in? They're not even in your classroom anymore, but they just need that morning hug. Would it be measured in the countless thank yous and the endless love that they give you all day long, unconditionally, every day? Could you measure your impact by the student who calls you and says, I just want to thank you because you taught me how to read, and I could not be where I am today if it wasn't for you? Could you measure your impact by the amazing opportunity that you have to read to the children in one of your students, your very first students' classrooms, as she's beginning her own teaching career? And there she is. When I grow up, I want to be a teacher, and she did it. And she's here tonight. When I grew up, when I was in kindergarten, I wanted to be a teacher. And I just feel like that's coming full circle, because when she was in kindergarten, she wanted to be a teacher. And she's doing the same thing. She's inspiring the next generation of educators. Could you measure your impact with the countless notes that you have, posted all around the room and then lovingly tucked into a file for you to read and remember just the difference you made, and to reflect on this little girl, her life is totally different now, and she just can communicate that back right to me? Could you measure your impact by the mom from years past who comes back on your birthday? You don't even have her kid anymore, but she comes back on your birthday with a hug so strong that you literally feel your hearts connected. And she brings you the sweetest gifts and the sweetest note, and you're reminded of the story of the widow's mite, because she truly gave from her heart. And that moves you to uncontrollable tears. I wanted my students to be a part of this Teacher of the Year journey. I wanted them to be able to see what I saw and feel what I felt and learn from all the places I had the great opportunity to go. So I had them make these paper cutouts of themselves, and I took my little flat children all around the country. And my heart literally melted into a puddle the day that my husband said, "Do you want me to take the children to the zoo today while you're in a meeting?" And I thought, he gets it. He gets it. And so yes. Yes. Clap for him. He took those paper children all around the zoo, met all the animals, and then he took them to the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. And, you know, I can't imagine what people thought as he stood there just fanning them around, you know, by the panda bears and things like that. But I do know how my children felt when I came back and I showed them those pictures of all the places they had gone and the things that they had seen. He communicated to them, you matter. And this journey was not about me. It was an impact on their lives as well. Could you measure your impact by seeing the paper cutout? Oh, don't miss this one. There we go. The paper cutout that one of your students made of you during the summer because he was crying so hard. That's the only way his mother could get him to go to sleep, if he could make a flat Miss Miller. And, and so he took me, you know, like, I got to go to summer camp. I got to go to the Discovery Center. And, you know, this is a great adventure. So while at the Discovery Center, it started raining, and he lovingly tucked me into his shirt so I wouldn't get wet. And then as he was running back into the building, I guess I got lost. So he started to melt down, and they had to go on this search for me all over the building. And thankfully, this search resulted in my rescue from the bathroom trash can. There, I made it. And he communicated right back to me, I matter. What if you measured your impact by the smiles, by the lives changed, by the goals met, by the I love yous? Your heart may literally explode, wider than the ripples in the lake, and higher than the highest mountain, and further than the stars that twinkle in the universe. That's the measure of your impact, one life at a time. There really is no measure to your worth. There's no end to your touch. There is no life that cannot be changed by your words, by your actions, by your love. Let your purpose fuel your passion, and let your passion literally change the world. Can you see the ripple effects of your work? Be that teacher. Be that person. Be the one person in their life that speaks life into them and that truly changes the world because you're living out your passion. Let the measure of your impact be infinite, absolutely impossible to measure or calculate. I am thankful for the leaders in my life, every single one, because I could not stand here today without you holding me to high expectations, without you seeing something in me that I don't even see in myself, and pushing me to be the absolute best every single day for every single child. I am thankful to my family. I literally wouldn't be here without you. So I just can't thank you enough for holding me to high expectations as well, and for loving me and encouraging me and being my biggest cheerleaders and biggest fans. I'm thankful to every single child that I've ever taught, because you made me into the teacher I am today. The impact you have on my life is absolutely endless. What if you could see the measure of your impact? Look into the eyes of the students that you have the great privilege and honor to work with every single day. And there you will see the difference that you make smiling back at you. Tennessee teachers and leaders, together, we change the world. What will you do with your love? What will you do to impact the world? Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. I don't know how you transition from that, so I'm not going to try. I wanted to start before we get to the announcement of our Tennessee Teacher of the Year and thank a couple of people. So first, if you are, the Department of Education staff worked really, really hard to put this night together. So Pam, folks in the back, if you wouldn't mind just standing so we can appreciate you and the work that you did. Thanks so much. That's right, no help. Also wanted to just one more time thank the legislators who came. They have so much support for our public schools, and I know as we're going into session, they have been incredibly supportive of you all as teachers, and want to give them one more round of applause for coming to support you all tonight. It's important. And while Governor Lee would have loved to have been here, he did have a special message that he wanted to send to all of you, and so I will step aside and let the more important person say a couple of words.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to you finalists on the 2019-2020 Tennessee Teacher of the Year. Everyone remembers their favorite teacher. And it's not important that it was their favorite teacher so much as it's important that your favorite teacher inspires you to learn. And when a child is inspired to learn, then their life is changed. So to you finalists, you're changing kids' lives. And I have been passionate about education for a long time. I now have the opportunity to take that passion and to apply it to everything educational in the state of Tennessee. Why I'm so excited about what you're doing and changing kids' lives is because what you're doing is changing the future of Tennessee. When children are inspired to learn, then they're inspired to change our state. And I am one who believes that this state can lead the country, but will do so because of great teachers like you who are changing the lives of Tennessee children. Thank you very much for what you do. Be honored tonight, be blessed tonight, enjoy your evening.
So tonight, one of our 8 finalists will be named the 2019-20 Tennessee Teacher of the Year. The winner will get the opportunity to work with many educators and leaders across the state and represent our state as a candidate for the National Teacher of the Year program. On a personal note, I just want to say I've had a chance to spend time with you guys for a couple of occasions now. This is truly an incredible group of people, and it's going to be a very, very fun year that Melissa and I are going to lead together. So thank you in advance. All right. This year's winner has been a dedicated, conscientious, and highly energetic instructor for more than a decade. As all of you know, that first year in the classroom can be terrifying. It takes some new teachers years to hone their craft. But this individual I'm about to bring up has been a level 5 teacher since the very first year, which is even more impressive when you think about how hard it is to teach. In addition to the strong performance record, this is a teacher who goes the extra mile for students, even when no one else is watching. One of my favorite parts of the selection process was reading through the applications that were submitted and talking with each of the finalists tonight. Each of them, in their own way, has been incredible. But there was one comment that stuck with me since the first time I read it, and I want to share that with you now, and it says, "I believe that every student can overcome his or her life's challenges through the work we do in the classroom, but their personal needs must be met as well. I go to sporting events and award ceremonies to support students whose parents cannot be present. I try to say words of encouragement, including, "I'm proud of you." My students know I love them and they work hard because they love me, even if they don't love themselves yet. So, I'm pleased to announce that the 2019 Teacher of the Year is Brian McLaughlin. We're thrilled to present this award from the Department of Education in conjunction with TOS, and would love to give you a few moments to say some words. We are incredibly proud of you and honored to have you represent our state.
Oh, I am overwhelmed. Thank you. When we went for our interviews for Teacher of the Year in August, we went to the Tennessee Department of Education headquarters, and I had a friend who drove me up, so I had someone to talk to on the way, and he was talking about, what this opportunity would mean to me. And I asked if he would drop me off. I wanted to take about an hour just to walk around and kind of meditate over this opportunity. And outside the Department of Education headquarters, there's this enormous granite map of Tennessee in the ground. It's like 50 yards long. And I just stood there staring at it, thinking about under my hand would be thousands of kids and all their families. And the gravity of that responsibility of being a voice for them hit me hard. And I cried by myself out in the park. And I thought, there's my region. There's all my kids. And I just thank you. I said my thank yous, but I'll say it again. My family, I owe everything to. As I work with kids every day, it hit me my first year teaching that not everyone gets the opportunity to have two parents that love them and would do anything for them every day of their lives. And you've made the hard choices every day to be the very best parents that I could possibly have. I love my students. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. Now your kids are my kids. And so I look forward to getting to know them and representing them. Please support me with prayer because I don't know what I'm doing yet. And but I'll find out, and I'm so grateful I have people like Melissa and Commissioner Schwinn to support me and help me because our kids deserve the very best. I mean, the absolute very best. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that's what they receive. But thank you very much.
So the official state photographer is here, very fancy, to take additional photos with your family, friends, legislators, principals, directors, etc., and to celebrate the night. We wanted to say thank you for celebrating with us. We'd like to get all the Teachers of the Year up here so that we can do one group photo, and ideally, if we can just celebrate them just one more time. That includes all of our teachers who have been celebrated tonight. So if y'all can come up, that would be great.
this posse. I just want to
Yeah.
Ready?
Love it.
1, 2, 3. Nice. Very good. Very good.
Woohoo!
So on behalf of the state of Tennessee, the Department of Education, our families and our students, we want to say just a heartfelt thank you, and let's give them another round of applause. We heard some really great stories. I think I'm going to cry all the way home. You guys are just an amazing group of educators, and so it is definitely a pleasure to have you represent us, and congratulations, sir. So I'm going to close it out, and Vicki, if you will please come up. And so we would like to say thank you as well for your time, for being a member of our community, and for, just taking your time this evening to be our Mistress of Ceremonies. And so we would like to present you with a small token of appreciation from students. Melissa's first grade students made this, so let's give Melissa and her kids. And so thank you. We appreciate everyone. Thank you for coming out. We sincerely appreciate this. And our teachers are our greatest commodity, and we look forward to supporting you this year. And I certainly look forward to working with you on the Teacher Advisory Council. Today, you were the highlight of my day. So thank you all. Everyone, thank you for coming out, and have a good evening.